But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past. Okay.
How do you just have this be so one-sided? It is, I mean, it's such a miscarriage of justice. This is not what justice is supposed to look like. It's just, it's incredibly disappointing.
The most powerful couple in music didn't just attend Epstein's gatherings. They allegedly took part in ceremonies so carefully buried that even the Department of Justice is stalling their release. Everyone assumed the worst was already public, that the files would confirm meetings, maybe favors, music, until insiders revealed the documents describe participation, not presence. And the redactions aren't just about victims. Right now, a fresh leak is spreading. Beyoncé and Jay-Z named and unsealed records tied to rituals, with the DOJ admitting they've released less than 1% of over 2 million pages, while Congress threatens contempt charges. The 2000 lawsuit refiled last December accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old at an after-party. His team now scrambling to suppress influencers with legal threats. While Ghislaine Maxwell's prison filing names 29 protected men who settled with victims but were never charged. The DOJ claims they're protecting privacy, yet their own timetable passed months ago. And the next file drop could include a VIP guest list with names that rewrite history. Something doesn't add up. If these were just social events, why would the government risk?
And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
Risk legal consequences to keep them hidden. Music. And why is Beyoncé's 2025 tour suddenly in jeopardy? The real explosion isn't what's already leaked. It's the terabytes of evidence still locked away. And the people who know their careers in the moment those files hit the public. The Department of Justice's stalling tactic just hit a wall. Congress is now threatening to hold Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt for refusing to release the full Epstein files. And the few documents that have slipped out paint a picture far more damning than anyone expected. Music. The files don't just mention Beyoncé and Jay-Z in passing. They allegedly placed them in the center of events so meticulously redacted that even the judges overseeing the case are raising questions. Music. And the timing couldn't be worse. Just as the DOJ claims they're working around the clock to review millions of pages, Ghislaine Maxwell drops a legal bombshell from her Texas prison cell, naming 29 powerful men who quietly settled with Epstein's victims, but were never charged. The filing doesn't just point fingers. It exposes a system where the right connections could make accusations disappear. Meanwhile, the DOJ's response has been silenced. A delay tactic that's starting to look like a full-blown cover-up. The first real crack in the story came when insiders revealed that the files describe more than just social gatherings. They allegedly detail ceremonies with dates and locations that align with times when Beyoncé and Jay-Z were known to be in Epstein's orbit. And here's where the narrative starts to bend. If these were just parties, why would the DOJ risk legal consequences to keep them hidden? The answer might lie in the 200,000 pages already released, which include an email from 2020 flagging that Jay-Z traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously reported. That's not just a footnote, that's a red flag. And it's not the only one. The 20-year-old lawsuit we filed last December accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old at an MTV after-party in 2000.
We do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
Was buried for decades before resurfacing at the worst possible moment. Jay-Z's response to the lawsuit wasn't a denial. It was a counterattack. He called the accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, a blackmailer, then did something that raised even more eyebrows. He brought his children into the public response, posting about having to explain the allegations to them. That's not how innocent people react. That's how someone with everything to lose plays the media game. And the timing, the lawsuit refiling hit the same week the DOJ missed its time frame to release the files. Another coincidence or another piece of the same puzzle? What's becoming clear is that the files aren't just a scandal, they're a negotiation. The DOJ isn't just protecting victims, they're protecting the powerful, and the files are the leverage. The real tension isn't in what's been released, it's in what's still locked away. The DOJ admits they've uncovered over 300 gigabytes of data, including videos and audio files, but they've only shared a fraction of 1%. That's not caution, that's control. In the few documents that have surfaced include references to ceremonial participation, a phrase that doesn't just imply attendance. It suggests involvement. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's silence has been
is and never was part of the Epstein files. She was sentenced in 2025. This was an interview by Trump's lawyer to protect Trump from the fallout about the Epstein files. What this really is nothing but a sketchy PR stunt by the Department of Justice. And we have seen this movie before. The Maxwell interview is to the Epstein files what the Barr letter was to the Mueller investigation.
Deafening. No music statements, no denials, not even the carefully worded PR responses her team usually deploys when scandals flare. That's not neutrality, that's strategy. And then there's the reaction from Jay-Z's legal team, who haven't just been fighting the lawsuit. They've allegedly been reaching out to influencers, pressuring them to back off the Diddy connections. Jason Lee, a commentator with no direct ties to the case, went public with a chilling warning. If I go missing, you know why. That's not paranoia. That's the sound of someone who thinks they're being watched. And then there's Piers Morgan, who initially platformed accusations against Jay-Z and Beyoncé, only to retract them after a call from their lawyer, Alex Spiro. The segment was edited, the claims removed, and Morgan issued an on-air apology. That's not journalism. That's damage control. The question isn't whether the files are damning music. It's why the DOJ is acting like they're radioactive. The answer might lie in the 200,000 pages already released. The ones that include unverified tips, public complaints, music, and a single email from 2020 flagging Jay-Z's frequent flights on music. Epstein's jet. The most telling detail isn't in the files, it's in the reactions. The DOJ's stalling. Music. Jay-Z's.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
Jay-Z's legal threats, Beyoncé's silence, Diddy's conviction, Ghislaine's prison filings. They're all connected, not by coincidence, but by a shared understanding. Some secrets are too valuable to let out. The 29 protected men aren't just names on a list. They're players in a system where information is the real currency, and the files, they're the ledger. The question isn't just what's in them, it's who's willing to burn the whole thing down to keep them hidden. But here's what no one's asking yet. If the DOJ is this terrified of the files, what's in the ones they've already released that we haven't noticed? The email about Jay-Z's flights, the lawsuit about the 2000 party, the 300 gigabytes of data. They're not just details, they're clues. And the next drop isn't just another batch of documents. It's music. The match. The only question left is, who's standing in the gasoline when it lights? And that's where the story starts to get dangerous. Because the files aren't just about Epstein music, they're about an entire network of people who thought they were untouchable. The DOJ's delays aren't just suspicious music, they're synchronized with the moves of the accused. Jay-Z's lawyer isn't just fighting a lawsuit, he's silencing critics. Beyoncé's silence isn't just a PR strategy, it's a calculation. And the 29 men Ghislaine named, they're not just waiting for the storm to pass, they're making sure it never hits them. The files aren't just documents, they're a ticking clock. And the next drop could be the one that changes everything. What's becoming clear is that the real story isn't in the files themselves. It's in the desperate attempts to keep them buried. The DOJ's excuses are wearing thin. The public's patience is running out. And the people named in those documents, music, they're not just waiting for the truth to come out. They're making sure it doesn't. The question isn't whether the files are damning. It's what happens when the last line of defense fails. And that moment, music, is coming faster than anyone expected. Because the files aren't just a scandal, they're a reckoning. And the people who thought they were safe are about to find out they're not. The only question left is who's going down first. Music. And who's taking the rest with them? The most dangerous part of this story isn't what's already out. It's what's still coming. The DOJ's next move, the next lawsuit, the music next leak, the next name on the list. And the people who thought they were
and it was pretty much said like Jay doesn't really want awards. Well, he go to the Grammys.
Right.
He you know, come into the black-owned spaces. Let's figure out how to work together so that way we have the relationship when it matters, not when it's convenient for you and your image. Because they all call us when the story is up that they don't like.
Who thought they were untouchable are starting to realize they're not. The files aren't just documents. They're evidence. And the clock is running out. The only question left is who's going to be left standing when the last file drops. And that's where the real story begins. Music, because the files aren't just about the past, they're about the future. And the future is about to get very, very messy. The kind of messy that doesn't just end careers, it rewrites history. And the people who thought they were in control are about to find out they're not. The files are coming. And when they do, nothing will be the same. The Epstein files aren't just about one scandal. They're about a system that's been operating in plain sight for decades, and the cracks are starting to show in places no one expected. Take the 2000 lawsuit we filed last December. The one accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old at an MTV after-party in 2000. That case didn't come out of nowhere. Music, it resurfaced at the exact moment the DOJ was supposed to release the full trove of Epstein documents, the same files that allegedly...
Now I would want, why?
Just to talk to or answer face to face.
One answer.
That allegedly described ceremonies involving some of the biggest names in music. And then there's the reaction or lack of one from Beyoncé, whose silence isn't just notable, it's strategic. Music, she's not just a bystander in this, she's a player. And her lack of response suggests she knows exactly what's in those files, and what it could do to her carefully constructed image. The real pattern here isn't just the allegations. It's the way the powerful close ranks when the walls start closing in. Look at Piers Morgan, who initially platformed accusations against Jay-Z and Beyoncé, only to retract them after a call from their lawyer. The segment was edited, the claims removed, and Morgan issued an on-air apology. That's not a correction. That's a surrender. And it's not the only one.